Alrighty, so this is a heck of a video to have to start. Now, normally I don't do reviews. I don't usually get too out there trying to share my opinion with people. Occasional comment on a YouTube video, but I felt that this was kind of needed. And not so much that it needs to be said by me, but it needs to be said by people, as many of them as feel willing to do so. And since I've already got a channel, I figure I may as well post it up. So, for anyone who's been familiar with what's going on the last couple of days, we had the Fallout TV show drop. Now, Fallout is a wonderful franchise. It has deep lore, it's been around for decades. In fact, I got my start in Fallout with Fallout 3, and I'm going to let this play in the background just as some distraction for those who are visually oriented. And so I got my start with Fallout 3, with Bethesda writing Fallout. And it was all right. It was pretty good for an adventure game. It wasn't really that much of an RPG, but it was RPG like. It was fun. And then I got my hands on Fallout New Vegas, and I grew to love the series so much more. And then I managed to eventually get my computer to function with Fallout and Fallout 2. And those games were just amazing. The writing, the lore, the character development, so far beyond what I'd gotten before, though New Vegas was close. Then we had Fallout 4, and that was a bit of a disaster. Then we had not New Vegas. We had Fallout 76, and I'm so glad I did not have to suffer through most of that. I tried playing 76 once, and then I watched other people play it after that, and it was bad. But anyway, long story short, Fallout iterations under Bethesda have not been the best. But this series brings us to a whole new low. So this series takes place at a vault that is on the Santa Monica Pier. For those of you unfamiliar with geography, the Santa Monica Pier is literally 15 miles as the crow flies from downtown Los Angeles, aka the Boneyard in Fallout lore. The Boneyard is a major city under the NCR and was actually run by the followers of the Apocalypse, a humanitarian organization. And we don't see them at all in the show. The show's taking place there, and it's after they took over the Boneyard, but we have no information on what happened to them. Fans of Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 may remember some of the details about Shady Sands, the NCR, Aradesh, President Tandy. Well, we've had some changes. First off, uh, Shady Sands is apparently was founded in 2142. Or no, sorry. One moment. Let me double check here at what they changed. Notepad. I had a list here. Well, a partial list. I kind of started this without sitting it down to finish this out. So yeah, apparently Shady Sands was founded in 2142, not 2098. So now we have Shady Sands having been around for better part of 50 years less than it's supposed to have been. In fact, it's only been around for about 20 years or so by the time that we find Shady Sands in the first Fallout game. So there's that. That's fun. And then lo and behold, it turns out that the NCR fell in 2277 with the nuking of Shady Sands, the capital of the NCR. Which is kind of daggone interesting because if that happened, then how do we have the NCR as a powerhouse in 2281 in Fallout New Vegas, and Shady Sands is supposed to still be intact at that point? Oh, wait, Bethesda doesn't like Fallout New Vegas because it's everyone's favorite 3D Fallout game and it's better than anything they've made. Oh, well, that explains why they've pretty much removed Fallout New Vegas from the lore. Because with the NCR wiped out before the events of Fallout New Vegas has no plot. The NCR is half of the plot of the game, and without the tension between the two sides of the plot, I mean, there's still all the side quests and everything. There's some of the factional quests, but I mean, literally, the Mojave just gets run over by Caesar's Legion. There's nothing else to stop them. So New Vegas is no longer canon. That's fun. Thank you, Todd Howard, for letting Amazon make a show that was in the Fallout canon. And there's some other fun stuff. As I said, there's no signs of the followers of the apocalypse whatsoever. The main character is from a tripartite vault system, or tripartite, pardon me. Vaults 31, 32, and 33. And this system has secrets to it. We're not going to go into the whole thing. It bugs the living hell out of me that it even exists because you're talking about three massive underground structures. The main character's vault is over 1,000 feet tall internally with the superstructure. So you're talking three massive structures plus interlinking tunnels, and nothing has broken due to tectonic activity on the San Andreas fault line. At the very least, the fault should have slipped when the nukes went off. But no, everything's perfect. Everything's fine. 220 some odd years, and everything is still, structurally sound. So, ignoring things that shouldn't be possible, we get into some of the issues in the show that make no sense. It has a very, very heavy anti capitalist message, which is kind of funny because in the show they make fun of inserting contemporary politics into contemporary entertainment, and then they're slipping modern politics into fictional entertainment. So that's a little funky. And then, just to make matters even more fun, we have a couple of other, shall we say, issues that we run into. These issues are fairly numerous. For one, ghouls are now chemically dependent. It's not that a ghoul can go feral at any time, or that a ghoul can, just go feral as they turn. No, ghouls go feral when they don't get a specific chemical cocktail that they need. So that if that had been introduced in Fallout 1 or 2, it would have been a beautiful little piece to use as a building block because you could have had ways to integrate ghouls into economies as functional citizens, essentially using them to go into irradiated areas and get work done that needs to be done, and then paying them in caps and chems that they need to survive. It would have been a beautiful thing to see. And the followers of the apocalypse could have gotten involved with that, helping to provide chems to those who needed it, who just couldn't get their hands on. Would have been a beautiful point in Fallout 1 or Fallout 2. Maybe even New Vegas. I could maybe kind of see it there. But this show is making it to where they've needed these drugs the entire way. It's not like some new discovery, especially considering that Goggins is playing a ghoul who's 200 years old. So he's been on these meds his entire life. That's a bundle of fun. There's there's several other issues here. The Brotherhood is just an abomination now. Apparently, the East Coast Brotherhood is doing so well. Not only have they founded a nation in the Commonwealth, and apparently the Brotherhood of Steel is the canon winning faction of Fallout 4, but also they've built a second Pridwen and sent it a bunch of vertibirds and a bunch of T60 armor out west. Oh, apparently T60 power armor existed in the New California Republic before the events of Fallout 4. So, literally, before the Brotherhood got to the Commonwealth to get T60 power armor from the Commonwealth, because the Commonwealth was the only location it was deployed to before the bombs hit. It literally only got approved for actual usage a month before the bombs dropped. So we're talking about armor that was in testing deployment. It had been tested and approved for usage, but it was in its first actual phase of deployment where they were verifying, okay, is this something we can use? Does this meet our requirements in the field? The trial deployment. But apparently, no, it's on the West Coast too, for no reason whatsoever. But not the first time they've retconned stuff. But we'll leave that for the moment. And then, just to add a little bit of fun flavor, the Brotherhood on the West is no longer what the Brotherhood used to be. The Brotherhood used to be an order that was kind of somewhere between Teutonic Knight and military unit. They had military discipline, they did military training, and they had at least a set level of technology or greater. In fact, in the early founding of the NCR, the Brotherhood of Steel was the research and development powerhouse of the NCR. They worked together. The Brotherhood did not get involved in the government, but the Brotherhood did contribute to society. They did development and research work, and they would have had access to advanced tech, including basic sanitation. Then we fast forward, and the Brotherhood in this show, many of them aren't even familiar with running water. It's just pathetic. And let's see, what else do we have? We have a character who somehow lived 200 years, not by ghoulification. We have no idea how they lived for 200 years. There's a whole plot line with the tripartite vaults and the overseers. I'm trying not to do too much spoiler shit here, so but that will come into play at some point. And it kind of screws with a few things, but hey. Um, then there's the overall like the bomb. We'll just call it the bomb that they dropped. And mind you, this is coming from Bethesda and Amazon. So we have one of the big video game development companies. They're not the biggest, but they're one of the biggest. They're up there. And we have the biggest entertainment and consumer delivery company in the world. I mean, literally, Disney may be bigger as an entertainment company, but the overall holdings of Amazon and their overall revenue per year, I'm guessing that actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and pull that up. Amazon yearly revenue and Disney yearly revenue. Let's see who makes more. Okay, so Disney's 12-month revenue on December 31st last year was 89 billion. Oh yeah, no. Amazon's financial report for last year was 575 billion. They made almost 6 times what Disney did. Actually, no, actually they made more than 6 times what Disney did in a year. And they're massive in the entertainment market at the moment. They control myriad other forms of corporate function. And they decided to blame the end of the world on corporatism, essentially on capitalism. So essentially, they're making it to where Vault Tech dropped the bomb that kicked off World War III, which makes no sense. But oh hey, this is what it is. It's okay. We haven't gotten to the really horrifying stuff. For this last part, actually, we'll go into the horrifying stuff now. For this last part, I would recommend that if you are under 18 and you're listening to this, you should probably get the fuck out. This isn't for you. And if you are over 18, but you're squeamish, you're probably going to want to leave. And I can only describe this. I cannot put this in the video. I am pretty sure that I would get a community guideline strike for doing so. So in this in the show, well, I'm not going to specify where or when. You get to lose your lunch when you find it. They have a scene that is pretty horrifying, and I'm going to give you some framework here for what I'm about to use to describe this. For people who play Fallout, the games, they usually play with mods. A lot of us do. There's some who play vanilla, but it's not often. And if you want Fallout mods, there's three places that are pretty common to go to. The big two being Nexus Mods and ModDB, or Mod Database. These two sites host the majority of all mods, and they host, I would say, 99.9% clean mods. You're not going to get any like, sex mods or anything in those. Then there's Lovers Lab. Lovers Lab hosts the adult mods. There's a scene in this show that I think most Lovers Lab modders would hesitate to make for Fallout 4, Fallout 76, etc. They couldn't make it for Fallout 76, but for Fallout 4, most of them would hesitate to make it because it is just that gross. If it were to end up on an adult site, it would have tags for pregnancy and vor. You literally have a recording of a woman who is giving birth to a litter of abominations that then eat her. And apparently, this is supposed to have been a Vault-Tec experiment. And honestly, that is about 20 steps beyond anything Vault-Tec ever did before. Vault-Tec did some messed up stuff, do not get me wrong. But we're talking as essentially one of the types of abominations that they had at that vault is one of the abominations you see in the show. The inside of this thing's intestinal tract, like the throat and gut, is fingers. So we're talking dozens of people to make one creature. And it's just, ugh. How the hell they got approval to put this on streaming sites, I do not know. And so, lost lunches aside, then there is some other stuff that we get in terms of plot points that just make no goddamn sense. Especially since not only are they retconning Fallout New Vegas, but in doing so, they're also destroying the character of Mr. House from the game. Because if you've ever played Fallout New Vegas, Robert House predicted that there was no way to avoid a nuclear war. Within 15 years of when he actually sat down and did the math, it was inevitable. So he did his utmost to prepare and to shield Las Vegas, which was the center of his power, from the war. And he was only off by a day or two in his preparations. He almost had everything ready to go in like 13 years. And he still managed to stop the majority of the nukes. Like one or two hit. But of the 70 plus nukes fired at Las Vegas, he managed to intercept and disarm almost 60 of them. And then the air defenses that he'd installed, the automated systems, managed to take out most of the rest. There was only a couple of hits. Vegas itself was spared. And now, with the way they've done it up in this show, he was complicit in the bombs going off, which makes no sense whatsoever if he hadn't had time to get his systems in place. If he had a hard deadline for when the systems would be in place, his preparations would have been done by then. But nope. No, we're undoing that too. Apparently, just Fallout New Vegas was too big of a thorn in Todd Howard's frickin' side. And even to add to that, to make matters worse, the likable character of the show, the character that is frankly the best one in the show, the Ghoul, it's Goggins' character. His name from before the war is Cooper Howard. I'm like, if it's not a self-insert, I don't know what the hell it is. And if it's a self-insert, it is the laziest, cockiest self-insert I've ever seen. There's also some of the firearms issues. If you ever go to the IMFDB page for this show, you'll see that there are some guns here that make no sense. For instance, The submachine guns that we see them using in the vault are a Sterling submachine gun. It's a post-World War II submachine gun based off of the British Sten gun. And this is nonsensical. I mean, there's literally no sense to having a British century plus a year old firearm as a Vault-Tec security firearm. I mean, heck, if they wanted an old SMG, we have grease guns, we have Thompsons, we have all different kinds of submachine guns they could use. Heck, they could use the American 120, the 22 caliber submachine gun with the flat drum feed, which was in Fallout New Vegas, and it would make sense as a Vault-Tec weapon. Ammunition is very compact, easily stored, almost never have to reload it if you're just having to use it to stop someone, and a 5 to 10 round burst of 22 caliber will do the job. But no, so we ended up getting a show that makes no goddamn sense. Oh yeah, I was talking about messed up firearms. Also, apparently the NCR uses RPDs. I have no idea why they would use RPDs because that is a Russian light machine gun, but apparently they do. Oh, and Vault-Tec, apparently, the company that was very good at hiding the evil shit that they did, also mass-produced suicide pills. That was the Vault-Tec Plan D for people who were too poor to buy a vault space. This is just such a fucking clusterfuck. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's bad enough that Bethesda killed Fallout with 4 and 76, just retconning stuff all over the place, unmaking the work of the previous games. But then they decided to go ahead and screw the corpse. And at this point, fuck them. I'm not buying any more stuff that they produce. Fallout 5, TESV 6, they can go blow it out their ass. I've got Morrowind. I've got Fallout New Vegas. I'm good. I don't need the rest of it. I mean, okay, I've got Fallout 4 too, but I've pretty much just turned that into single player Tarkov, so because Fallout 4 was pretty trash. And there was not really a way to embrace the RPG side of it with mods effectively without over modding it, so I just embraced the first person shooter of it. Anyway, oh, that part of the trailer reminded me about something. There is one other thing that just drove me fracking insane here. So, oh, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Right. Oh, okay. I kind of missed it. Crap. We'll find it along here. But one of the big plot points is a former member of the Enclave, an Enclave remnant. And we get to see the inside of the Enclave base the guy works at, this guy here. Now, the part that bugs the hell out of me, just let's say just maybe they manage to excuse him being able to slip a biological specimen from a biological testing lab to his private lab on the other side of the facility and having to go through security with it. Well, let's say we excuse that somehow. How the hell does a basic scientist get to move between sectors in a base that's under a security lockdown for a security breach? That doesn't happen. That's not in any security protocol. And so it's just there's so much stuff here. It's just I'm gonna stop before I have an aneurysm. In fact, let me drink some whiskey here just to smooth this out a little. And I guess now that I've had some time to rant, let's come to the final rating. So, as a TV show unto itself, nothing else in consideration, we're looking at it without knowing anything about Fallout. The first episode is pretty okay. There's one or two episodes throughout the series where they've got almost that same energy, but it kind of comes and goes. It gets a little unstable. Overall, I'd give the series about a 6. It's mediocre. And considering the budget that they spent on this, frankly, they'd have been better off giving that money to the people that made uh, Red Star and Nuka Break and having them make a Fallout series. Because those guys with $100,000 and a lot of heart managed to make something that was better than this show. And their stuff, all cumulative, I think, is maybe 2 hours of content, maybe. So, looking at this as a Fallout fan, it's really hard to not use expletives for this. So, we're going to go with expletives. This show, for a fan of the Fallout lore, I don't mean like a Bethesda Fallout fan. Bethesda Fallout fans will lick the Windex off the window and enjoy it because they don't know any better. But as anyone who's a fan of the overall Fallout lore and the Fallout games, I would give this yeah, 4 moldering dumpsters on fire. And while we're glad that they are burning and the contents will soon disappear, the fumes and smoke being given off in all directions despite the wind is getting a little bit fucking much. And if we're going to do this as an out of 10 system as a Fallout series, I can't give it better than a 2.5. I'm sorry. Like, some of the props are on point. Like, the laser rifles and laser pistols are beautiful. The Colt revolver is beautiful. But I'm willing to bet you 10 to 1 they bought those from fans that make their own props or fans who sell props. They did not make those. There's no way you put the kind of attention to detail that you do into stuff like this and fuck up everything else that bad. I mean, at least not if you're putting the attention to detail in because you like it. If you're putting the attention to detail in because you're being paid to do so, I guess you could somehow achieve something like this, but even then, you'd figure they'd do the basic reading, because they have literally unmade one of the biggest factions in the Fallout universe, and they didn't even unmake it in a way that was cohesive with the canon. They've literally undone an entire video game, the most universally accepted Fallout video game in the history of Fallout, to make their TV show. I'm sorry, but whatever retard wrote this shit and whatever retard signed off on this shit, and that includes fucking Todd Howard because he was fucking executive producer. All of them need to go and think about what the fuck they've done. I'm not going to say anything should happen to them because that's not what you do. Yeah, at most, hope that they get their karma swiftly. And anyone who's watched this show and is frustrated by how bad the Fallout TV show is, don't go saying you want to harm anybody or wish harm on anybody or harass anybody. The harassment won't work. They're too stupid to accept criticism, even constructive criticism. And you don't wish harm on another person, even if it's because of something they've done. That gets you bad karma, bad orlog. If you want to make your wishes known to the universe and you think they deserve something terrible to happen, just wish for them to get the karma they've earned, to get the orlog that they have earned. And in this case, if Todd Howard got the orlog that he has earned, I imagine we wouldn't have to deal with him ever again. But I can't know that for certain. I'm just making an approximate guess. Anyway, I have rambled enough, and between the whiskey I had to drink to get through watching the show and what I've had during this, I think I probably need to go get some sleep. So, au revoir, and everybody have fun. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, etc., please enumerate them in the comments below. And everybody have fun. Take care.